The Secrets of Stargate is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, Episode 22.
Lieutenant West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
All right, here we go. We are about to try to make a connection.
All we gotta do is bust out of here, commandeer the ship, and fly on home.
Indeed. You say that a lot.
I know that this could be dangerous. But this is our job, right? It's what we signed on to do.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
Hi, I'm Jack Berezini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. Today, we're picking up our discussion that we started last week about the Season 1 finale and the Season 2 opener of SG-1. Today, we'll be talking about the Season 2 opening episode, The Serpent's Lair. So we pick back up with the team. They're on the Goua'uld ship. It's been revealed that in addition to Chlorel's ship, there's also Apophis's mothership, which is traveling to Earth. They've arrived in the solar system. Lieutenant Samuels has arrived at the SGC and announces that they are going to be attacking the Goua'uld ship with Naquita-infused warheads. And he's very confident that this is going to take care of them. General Hammond, having dealt with the Goua'uld, is obviously a little more skeptical. But yeah, the team gets attacked, and they ended up getting put in the brig. So you can pick up the discussion there. Yeah, get a quick cut and wake up and they're blind.
So just a correction. It's Lieutenant Colonel Samuels.
Okay,
Lieutenant Colonel. Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen it both ways on the wiki. I don't know if they go back and forth, but or if it's
he was major, and that was the thing. In the politics episode where he's, oh no, it's Lieutenant Colonel now. Of course, has to point his epaulettes and says, oh, look at here, I'm Lieutenant Colonel. As he's standing in front of a 2-star general, that's like, yeah, so I still outrank you.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely got a lot of hubris.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
so we start with some poignant words from Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where he's trying to think of something profound to say and nothing comes to mind.
Can't think of anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. We also get a very, very despondent Daniel Jackson. Like throughout this episode, he's just a downer.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably so, but yeah.
Yeah, and this sets up the running gag of O'Neill saying, this is turning out to be a very bad day. As well.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't get much better when they throw a shock grenade at them. We see that for the first time, where they're stunned and blinded both.
Mm-hmm.
One of the running things throughout this episode is primitive human grenades versus the advanced shock grenades from the Goua'uld, which seem to function just like shock grenades that we have, but
just a little more stunning than our flashbangs do.
The first time we saw one of those was actually in the very first episode of the show. I think when they knock out the
that's right,
staff waiting in the gate room, they throw one of those in first and knock them out. When the gate's in storage, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
When they pulled it out, though, I did think of a C-3PO saying, "He's holding a thermal detonator."
Yeah, they look very similar. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although
I guess perfectly cube ones wouldn't roll as well. So
yeah,
it's like rolling a dice. But yeah, they're put in the brig and they're not guarded because you got to do the James Bond thing where you don't watch over your prisoners.
Well, it wasn't really a brig. It was kind of a hallway with like chain link fence on either.
Yeah.
It was like a section of hallway with chain link. They get better brigs later on, but this was just kind of like, I don't know, just put them in that section of the hallway and put some fencing around.
It worked until the Jaffa showed up, a particular one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Braytac shows up.
But
we get his reveal. So he puts Chlorel into the sarcophagus so it can be revived. Which I know you mentioned this last week, Lisa, but apparently he was supposed to stay dead, but there was a fan outrage, so they brought him back. And we get the one Jaffa there who is noticeably keeping his serpent helmet on the whole time so he can get that reveal where he comes in, you see a shadow, you see the helmet drop, and you get Braytak.
The voice was familiar, though. I mean, as soon as you heard his voice, it's like, is that Braytak? That sure sounds like him. It is.
Yeah.
I love the first thing that he does when he sees Jack O'Neill is he just punches him.
Yeah.
I have to say the payoff of getting Braytak in this episode to kind of save them all, right?
Mhm.
It just makes it all the better.
Yep.
Right? I mean, they're going to get out of it, sure, but to get the way Braytak does it, and he, just still looking down his nose at the humans, right? Love it.
Well, throughout the episode, he's always like, "This is the way we're going to do it because I'm superior. Jafar superior to you pesky humans." Until they get to the shield generator, got to knock out the shield generator. He's like, "Oh, we got to go down all these flights and cross over here." And Jack just pops a couple of grenades and throws them down. And okay, that worked.
Yeah.
Did anyone else feel that was like your Raiders of the Lost Ark moment with the guy with the swords? And Indiana Jones just pulls out his gun. And,
Yep, exactly. It's like, I ain't got the patience for this. Boom.
Yeah, no, that was a good payoff to all the ribbing he gave them about their primitive weapons.
And then he turns around and he's like, okay, so now what? And then Braytak's always like, now we die.
Yeah.
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 No.
How about no?
Yeah. Well, I can't believe we've skipped over Carter biting Jack's hand in the prison just to go back.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of your ships and stuff, I guess. Just came out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, I guess that's what you would do if you couldn't see and somebody like grabbed
your
you.
face.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But was it that didn't later Jack say something like, and the plan is, Carter, you bite someone or something?
Yeah, if anyone comes, bite their hand. Yeah.
That was nice.
And Braytak is just pretty prickly the whole time because they've thrown a wrench into his plan, which was to cause Chlorel and Apophis to be suspicious of each other. Which it's not a bad plan, but I don't think it would save the Earth, which was his goal.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, and I think Braytak even acknowledged that is that it might have happened. It might have happened here. It might have happened at the next planet. That they were set out to destroy, but it would have happened eventually. I'm 130. What do you want? Like,
yeah. He's much more in for the long game, right? Not the immediate save the Earth, but
Well, it was kind of funny though. I mean, he's criticizing Jack and SG-1 for being there, and Jack's like, "This is our planet. What do you think we're gonna do? You think we're just gonna sit back and let you guys destroy our planet? We don't care about your plans. We just want to save our planet. What you do after that, we don't care."
Right.
And back in the SGC, which I think is where like the real drama is happening. I mean, here we get up in space, we get running around. We're on one ship, we're on another ship. Something's blowing up. People are getting captured. Oh no, that now they're. It's just a lot of the running around of ships. But back in the SGC, I mean, it's actually interesting stuff is happening there. I mean, as you mentioned, Colonel Samuels is back with a secret weapon. Which is our first ever Naquita enhanced nuke, I think, which we see a lot of as they improve it. But yeah, so and it totally would have worked too if their shields hadn't been up on the gold ships.
Yeah,
I think is the point. Yeah,
didn't see that coming.
But they get the shields down later on. I was like, well, they could have sent the nukes like now, but
well, the nukes totally would have worked if it wasn't for those meddling shields. You kids and your meddling shields.
Yeah.
It's like I've never seen a other sci-fi movie ever, right? That has shields on alien spaceships.
Yeah,
now
there's
there's
so confident it's going to work out.
Yeah, and I mean to the point of just like, let's not alert anybody else because this is just going to take care of it. And everybody's just going to see a couple of new stars in the sky and that's it. Yeah, that didn't quite work. Yeah. But there's this great scene as they're getting the people to the Alpha site, to the off-world escape planet, and General Hammond is standing in front of the Stargate as it whooshes, and that is just the best scene in the world, where he's just surrounded by the Stargate when it lights up.
Yeah, because none of those people that have seen the Stargate before know where they're going or how they're going to get there. He's like, and you're going to be transported to a planet, and just as a whoosh, he's just like through that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is a excellent. That was his Patton moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so they're going to move. As he says, the Earth's best and brightest to a backup colony in case they're not able to defeat the Goua'uld. And later on, we also get a good moment with Samuels where he comes up his tail between his legs, asking if we can go to the backup planet. And Hammond tells him, "No, we're sending the Earth's best and brightest."
Yeah.
Which is not you.
Yep.
You think about it, he doesn't really ask. He's kind of like, well, since my plan didn't work, and man, I'll go on and evacuate now with everybody else.
Nothing really for me to do here. I'm going to knock off early today. I'm just going to head through that Stargate and good luck here. Yeah, see you later, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a great speech from Hammond.
I just love it. Request denied. I mean, he was just like, not even a chance.
We also get, speaking of Hammond, we get the first reference to him as Hammond of Texas from Braytok when they meet.
And he does the move his hand over his head as a bald Hammond of Texas.
And the resolution on the Hubble telescope is amazing. Like they can see through the windows into the bridge, what's going on in the ship, and they can decide that, or they can determine that the nukes bounced off an energy shield, which I don't really know how they did that, but it was pretty realistic though, that if you do, depending on how high in orbit it is, if you do detonate a nuke up there, I mean, you are going to cause a EMP burst that'll knock out your communications. At least that's the theory.
At least for satellites. Yeah.
They do the same thing they do in Independence Day, though, is you have these massive ships, which I'm not exactly sure of the scale of the Goua'uld ships, but they're huge.
There are videos on YouTube you can watch where they have every ship and they progressively get larger. Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's my jam. I'll have to watch that after this.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing in Independence Day, where at one point in that movie they reference the mothership as being a fourth the size of the moon, and it's like closer than the moon. It's like if it was that big and that close, you could see it.
Yeah,
just with the naked eye. I feel like you get the same thing here with the Goua'uld ship, and they never talk about them having any sort of cloaking device. So
they're not that big. I think they're probably smaller than the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I had to guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I was assuming they'd be bigger than that. But okay.
Well, they do land on pyramids.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, later on you get like the super Goua'uld ships, which are clearly, much larger, but still not city size or anything.
Yeah, that's for another show.
Yeah.
But you lost my train of thought there.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
And those rockets, Colonel Samuels, I mean, I don't know what he puts in his rockets, but I mean, they got up into orbit like within I mean, yeah.
It's the same thing that Soren put in his rocket to destroy the sun from Star Trek Generations.
Oh, yeah.
It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch, for at least low Earth orbit, it takes about 10 minutes. I mean, if you watch like some of the Starlink launches or whatever, the SpaceX launches, it takes them about 10 minutes to at least get into the initial orbit. But, this is in theory much further than that. We know that the Goua'uld ships had entered into orbit once Corell was healed, once he was healed by the sarcophagus, then they got into orbit. So don't know how far it is off Earth, but it's definitely not the 30 seconds you watch it go from launch to boom.
I think they say it's 4 minutes between launch to hitting, and they do some time jumping there.
Oh yeah, well, it's still a little
a little quick,
a little fast.
But it's not. They're definitely fare a lot better than our other Earth-based spacecraft in this episode, where Braytek is saying, well, perhaps when the warships of your world attack, we might stand a chance. And they all the SGC is like looking at each other. It's like, yeah, we have a couple of shuttles. And
Braytek they're mighty.
These shuttles, they are formidable craft. Yeah.
Who rescues them at the end of the day?
Yep.
Space Shuttle Endeavour. Yep.
Shuttle.
Now, of course, that's where everybody who ever watched the Space Shuttle program rolls their eyes. It's like, there's a Space Shuttle on standby on the pod, Endeavour on standby. And it's like, yeah, the Space Shuttles were never on standby. They spent half the time being broken or being fixed.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called now, but I watched some like early 80s made for TV movie. It was a disaster airplane movie, but the twist was that this was a airplane that went up into orbit and then came back down. And in order to rescue it, they send up one space shuttle and it gets destroyed. And then they send up another space shuttle, you know, and it's just like keep setting space shuttles up. I'm like, if only, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I have a book from the early 80s. It was like, or it might even be from the late 70s, but it was talking about like, you know, what it's going to be like in the year 2000. And we're going to have a big ring space station. And there's like going to be like regular shuttle service. And it's like 20 space shuttles just flying around. And
that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We Secrets of Doctor Who we just talked about an episode set in 2018. And yeah, it's like we don't have half that technology.
Yeah.
Well, we do have video conferencing from the Jetsons now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
And we do have an enemy of the world, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chlorel has been revived by the sarcophagus, and we get more of his internal conflict going on. Like when the missiles are coming towards the ship and he's got to activate it, he almost doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're getting more of that. It'll be good to see if that pays off.
Yep.
Yeah, I like seeing a little bit of struggle and
Mm-hmm.
the that Scar is still in there, and it just brings it back so that in future seasons that we see him that you know that there's more of that for him.
When we do our measure of a Goua'uld trial, yeah.
Yeah. One more space trial.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that he actually admitted to Apophis that it's like, I can't do it. You know, this host is too strong. It's fighting me. And of course, Apophis is like, you're my son. You're fine.
Yeah.
Brush it off. Yeah.
They do carry through that Goua'uld arrogance really well, right?
Yeah.
It's just like they don't guard things. They don't worry about things. And then he even says, they got to my son, but they're not prepping for us. But he doesn't go, how did they get on the ship?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real logic or thinking through the process. It's just like, I will get them.
You think he would put two and two together and realize they have a Stargate and there's a Stargate on the ship and they don't have interstellar spacecraft. So therefore, but I think he's too wrapped up in his own ego to really puzzle over anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He also delays the attack on Earth until Chlorel is revived, which is a big mistake for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's kind of another like kind of plot hole here as well, is it takes Chlorel like how many hours?
Yeah.
Like a day or two, or I don't know. It was
like 18
really
hours.
long.
It was like 18 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in the easy bake oven for like 18 hours, and he's a Goua'uld, so stronger than a human, right? Later on, Daniel gets shot in the chest with a staff weapon with 41 minutes. Yeah, and he's in there for like 20 minutes, and then he pops out, and his uniform's fixed, you know, and his, you know, and he's like ready to go, and so I don't know.
Chlorel jumps out and is still trying to fight his host and can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta love that the sarcophagus not just does it heal you, it's a tailor too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it repairs your radio.
Yeah, he had his guns in there too. I noticed. Did they just like clean them and reload them for him?
Probably.
That'd be nice.
He might have just turned the temperature up though. Got to cook things quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Turned up to 11.
Yeah.
So is this the second time now Daniel's been shot, left for dead, and
ended up in the sarcophagus
and is fine?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to count, you know, how many we're up to.
He's
this isn't almost dead. He wasn't quite dead yet.
Yeah.
That's true. He wasn't dead. You're right.
And this is after us, you know, in the last episode, right before, you know, Jack is forced to shoot Chlorel / Skara, you know, Chlorel is like sucking Daniel Jackson's life away. And he's like, I've sucked a year of your life away.
Yeah.
Goua'uld device. And I'm like, I don't know how those Goua'uld like sucky things work, but like you probably want to shoot him sooner rather than later to stop that, because it A, can't be pleasant, and B, is probably doing some lasting damage to his brain. That, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the sarcophagus fixed that though.
I mean,
Yeah, but on that note, so he's torn, right? Daniel's getting his brain sucked, and then there's Scar, Chlorel, and I'm going, someone's got a Zat.
Yeah.
Why was this hard?
Or just shoot him in the leg.
It's a show, but
yeah, that's the old shoot him in the leg thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All you really need is a shotgun, and
or walk over and like hit him. I mean, that hand device, like as we've seen in the movie and multiple times, is like the worst possible way to kill someone because it takes like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They get more effective torture devices too. The Goua'uld do.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Speaking of their brigs, yeah,
You have agonizer booths.
Yeah, exactly.
agonizer sticks. Yeah.
Oh, even better. Yep. Yeah, the
So again, we have
Goua'uld
the
and
agonizing. Jack has to leave Daniel. Daniel's dying
Yep.
Mhm.
to see their little bro relationship growing.
Yeah.
yeah, I like the kind of the conclusion with the two ships where they've got the C4 ready to go on the first ship, on Chlorel's ship, and then they beam over to the other ship and basically put them on ramming speed.
Mm-hmm.
So that when the first one goes, it takes the second one out.
Yeah. I like
But wasn't that Braytek's idea?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
As he says, 2 birds with but 1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
Much better use of an analogy than his.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it earlier on in the episode. Yeah. And so they leave. They leave Daniel on the other ship with the assumption that they're all going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
But they do end up escaping. Daniel or Jack and Sam and Braytek and Teal'c in 2 death gliders.
Yeah,
That was
Braytek's like,
cool
well,
to see.
now we die. Now we die. And Jack's like, bad plan. Let's think of another one. Hello, ships, death gliders. Let's fly off of this thing.
I didn't mention it last episode, but when the death gliders, the death glider bay is, a composite, digital composite. And so when they're like loading people up into them, they have like, people cutouts being loaded up and raised up into the death gliders. If you look closely at the Jaffa going in, there's like a Jaffa there and he's like raising the roof as he goes up into his death glider.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
right.
weird.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch it like 3 times. I was like, he's not really motioning me up. He's like actually like raising the roof. It was pretty crazy. But.
Was that a thing in '98? I don't remember.
Well,
I think it was.
Arsenio Hall was this. Yeah, I think Raise the Roof was still a thing.
Nice.
Yeah. This is great for an audio only podcast too, by the way. So.
I was gonna say, is raising the roof still a thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it sure is. Right. I mean, anything that was popular when I was like in my 20s has to still be popular.
Yeah, sure.
In the 90s is coming back into style. So
it is very much into style.
Oh no, I can't.
I'm just saying.
I can't wait to see what the 90s looks like the second time around. But
it's kind of a hot mess, but yeah, it's back.
Well, that works, I guess.
That's why Stargate is still so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's also because it's not insanely depressing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Speaking of things that are insanely depressing now, was that a Star Wars reference when they get in the death gliders and they go punch it? Isn't that like a Han Solo thing or something?
Yeah, he says that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume yes.
Well, we'll have to ask our friends for Secrets of Star Wars for sure.
I know it's what Pike says in the new Star Trek shows, but this is pre that, so
yep,
that might be referenced to Han Solo too.
Line.
Yeah, Pike probably got that from watching Star Wars.
Probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just hoping you'd say, "You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home."
Yeah.
Right.
Wahoo!
Yeah.
I do like that we get a lot of Braytek and Teal'c's philosophy of like is dying free is better than living as a slave, and Braytek saying I've spent 133 years worshiping you, Mr. False God, and
now you're gonna die. No.
Yeah.
I die free. Braytek spent a lot of time in this episode trying to die.
Yeah.
I mean,
he really did. Yeah.
He might just be tired.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, one thing I like is Daniel figures out, hey, we're around Earth. I could use Earth's home signal to dial back to the alpha site, and so I can get home through the Stargate with literally 2 seconds to go as he jumps through.
That's how you got to do it.
Yeah. But he did. I did like how he was like he got to like the 7th chevron and was like looking frantically at the DHD, being like, okay, well, what would be the point of is it Earth's point of origin? Okay, there it is. Boom.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
so that part was nice.
Yeah, they do a good job not having characters have that, like, I know how to work every interface exactly right off the bat thing, which you get a lot of times, like in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and then later on the show, they're like, oh, we're on the bridge of a Goua'uld mothership. Okay, let me just fly it over here now.
Yeah.
Whereas in this episode, Teal'c's like, like, I don't know, like I've never seen one of these things before.
And that is one thing that I think Stargate does so much better than other series do, is they do advance the technology, but it's slowly. We've talked about it before, but over the course of 10 seasons SG-1, they go from like this, nothing, no spaceships, just standard military issue firearms to battleships, very large intergalactic ships that can go from one galaxy to the other.
Yeah, intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
Yep.
If you're a Beastie Boys fan.
Ooh,
sorry. Nice.
Took you a while to think of that, though.
And they do it in a very sensible way too. First, but they have fighter craft, and then they have the the battleships and stuff that they develop, and we get lots of funny Star Trek references along the way too.
Yeah.
But I will point out, they still maintain the Air Force rank structure as it should be. The Navy is water only. They are not spaceships. Air Force is everything above the ground. Well, actually, now Space Force, I will take that back. Space Force is everything in space, and I think they should remain with the Air Force ranks.
Do they
set as
an
Air Force
ranks? Do you know? Does Space Force follow the Air Force ranks?
They've kept them so far. There's been talk, and actually there was one congressman that tried to pass a law to force the Space Force to use Navy ranks, and I think the DoD basically said, "Go pound sand, let us deal with it." But right now they are still doing. I think they still call their enlisted airmen, for example,
called spacemen.
Yeah,
they should call them spacemen and space generals and space admirals. And
everything's better when you add space.
Yeah.
Well, there wouldn't be admirals because it's, the Air Force, the better ranks, but still, everything's better when you add space.
I like that. Yeah.
Except speaking of that, Space Monkey.
Oh yeah.
What? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
That was great.
At the end, O'Neill is,
I wonder if it was an ad lib, right?
Could be.
Well, maybe, but they never say it again. Yeah, it was kind of just like.
Doesn't he say it a couple of? I mean,
like Space Monkey's like what you'd say to like a 6-year-old or something. I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very kind of a belittling thing to say.
Thought that they refer to him several times.
Could be.
Series.
Could be. I don't remember, but
yeah, maybe
it did make me think of. I'm not sure if y'all have seen this movie, but have you watched the first Twilight movie?
No.
Okay,
no.
Good. It's
I could honestly say that. No.
Parts of it with Riff Tracks commentary.
Yes, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I watched it to make fun of it. But at one point, I can't remember the main character guy's name. He refers to the girl as Spider Monkey just out of nowhere, and it's really weird and uncomfortable and awkward, and that's what this made me think of.
Isn't that all of Twilight weird and uncomfortable and awkward?
Yes. It's a good movie.
Yeah. What if Teal'c was a sparkly vampire? Discuss.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So we get the Space Shuttle Endeavour kind of as a payoff to the Space Shuttle reference.
Yeah.
We get it picking them up in their death gliders, and I just want to know, how did that logistically work? It's not like you can open the door and jump over and.
Shh, it's a show. Shh.
They could decompress. Well, you're right, because they'd be in the bay, right? And there's no atmosphere in the bay.
Yeah, I don't think
you would stay in their glider until they landed.
Well, I think they just jettison the compartment of the glider. I think just like how later on the ships will have when they do eject, they're like in their little
pods
compartment. Yeah, so maybe they just like shot 2 pods into the bay and then just landed the shuttle somehow.
Sure.
Sounds like
he did. That's good. Yeah. Yes, that works.
Good headcanon. I don't know if they.
Yeah.
They don't. They obviously they don't mention it. Yeah, that was my thought too as I'm watching it. Did they like do the let go of your breath and swim over thing?
Sure.
Well, they do ship to ship or something. I don't know, but you can't like get into the space shuttle from outside. I don't think
you can through the bay. There was an access.
Okay.
There is an access.
Okay.
So from the bay, but like I said, I don't think the bay has the ability to be pressurized.
So, but we do have death gliders. I don't remember when we get them necessarily. So it could have been that they took the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just landed the
yeah.
space shuttles with the death gliders hanging off of them.
Yeah.
No.
Or in the bay. No, I'm
In the bay. I know.
Bay's huge.
I also want to know, so they had to get into the space shuttle. It had to land, which means they probably had to wait until they were in the correct orbit to enter the atmosphere and land. And then they had to fly to Colorado. So was everyone just hanging around in the SGC?
They just landed the space shuttle at Colorado. They just landed the space shuttle at Stapleton Airport, or I guess it was DIA, Denver International Airport. No big deal. It's big enough, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then they come in, and then you wait like 10 minutes before you tell them Daniel Jackson's alive.
And meanwhile, Jack's like grinning. Is like, hey, this was a pretty good day after all, wasn't it?
We just lost one of our friends. Huh?
Yeah.
Though I love the moment where Carter's all like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, look up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they just pause. I really, especially when you learn later on that she always wanted to be an astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
And that, some of the first times we meet him, he's got the telescope and all that. So it was kind of a neat moment for the first time they're in space and
actually
getting to see the Earth from right there.
We saved it, sir. Yes, we did.
Yep.
Right. You kind of forget that because they've been all over the galaxy, but they've not actually been in space yet. They've just been on different planets.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And again, right at that moment, they still thought they were going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Goua'uld ships get destroyed. Braytak is going to return to Chulak, which I want to know, is he like on the run now, or how's that going to work out for him?
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. He had to hoof it back to Chulak to get everybody out of there, I think is the idea. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good episode and a good start to the second season.
It is. We hit the ground running this season. Like there's a lot of fun stuff coming our way.
And
I mean, second episode, just I can't think of the name of it.
In the Line of Duty, right?
In
Yep.
the Line of Duty.
That's right. The Tok'ra.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
meet the
Jolinar.
Tok'ra, and we have a whole nother takeover
Oh,
of a
nice.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, the first season, all in all, wasn't too bad, and but it's second season improves.
Mm-hmm.
It's much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really like found its footing quickly. I feel like a lot of shows you get a lot of that early season kind of jitters, but I feel like apart from Emancipation, yeah,
most
of the episodes were at least decent,
tolerable sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think this is what happens if you have like a very strong like creative staff, and they're not trying to please anybody. They're just sitting in a room and coming up with cool ideas and knocking around cool ideas and thinking about how things would work and wouldn't it be cool if this happened. And they're not trying to check boxes or anything. They're not feeling beholden to the prevailing political winds or anything. So
and when you don't have one person who's basically running the thing, Gene Roddenberry, and you have to basically do what he wants you to do.
You also don't have the baggage of like any of the sequel Star Trek shows. They had to be a Star Trek show, but this was starting fresh, so they didn't have to like fit any mold.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like when I first started watching Stargate, what it reminded me of, oddly enough, and this was before New Who had come along, was classic Doctor Who, where you have a team of 3 or 4 people, and every week they're on another planet, and something weird happens, and so it was they're trying to solve a problem, they get out just in the nick of time, that sort of thing. So and I think Doctor Who was another show that benefited from not having any baggage when it first started in the 60s as well.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that start. Well, did y'all have any other thoughts on this episode?
Nothing here.
No, but I did look very quickly up a Space Monkey, and everyone says that is the one and only reference. Which shocks me because I guess it just became maybe because my son's name is Daniel, and we used to say that to him when he was little.
There you go.
Okay, I
That's
should have
cute.
said that, right?
Yeah.
Recorded because he's a teenager and he's gonna be mad at
Yeah.
me. But
Well, I mean,
I did think of one thing, every time that Samuel says, for what it's worth, you almost want to smack the smug off his face.
Mm-hmm.
I think he only says it once in this episode, but he says it on a regular basis. For what it's worth, like, no, it ain't worth nothing. If I was General Hammond, it's like, it's not worth anything, so I don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
and I did like Jack's kind of like, we're gonna win not by laying down our lives for our world, but by getting the other guys to lay down their lives for their world first.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a aphorism. I can't recall who said it, but
well, it's kind of a military truism where it's, instead of laying down our lives, we make them lay down theirs first, type of deal. And instead of laying down our lives for our country, we want to make them lay down their lives for theirs first.
yeah, my husband, we were watching it again. He quoted it and he goes, "That's Patton."
Was it Patton?
I
Okay.
don't know if he's right or wrong.
Made me think of Malcolm Reynolds' advice in Firefly. If someone tries to kill you, you just try to kill them right back.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah. All right. And we do have some feedback on our episode Enigma. Paulioni on YouTube says, "This was an okay episode for me. One thing I noticed when I rewatched it earlier this year was there's a nice moment between Tobin Bell's character and Daniel. When Tobin explains how the communication device works and Daniel says, 'Oh, you're talking about folding space,' like Einstein theorized, and Tobin almost looks sympathetic to him, or at least pitying, and he says no, it is at least hinted at more than arrogant space genius to him. Here's a random question. If you all were magically made showrunners for a new Stargate series, a sequel or a prequel or whatnot, not a full reboot, what would it be about?" So we can go around here and answer that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go first, Victor?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely going to see, a new civilian run Stargate program on Earth taking place, however many years it's been since Atlantis wrapped up, led by Rodney McKay and Samantha Carter, who are now married with the daughter. And the daughter is now a captain in the Air Force, and she's part replicator, which is how she's like age appropriate now. And then I think we're going to also get, this is a spoiler way ahead, we're going to get Rush and Eli out of their stasis pods so that they can swoop in and save the day. I think that just needs to happen right off the bat, because I like wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, Rush and Eli are still in their stasis pods.
Yeah.
And then the enemies are going to be a Goua'uld replicator, like a genetically, technologically cybernetic Goua'uld race that I think, just to take it back to its roots. And we definitely need to get General Hammond in there. And, since Donna Davis has sadly passed away, we will go back Bill and Ted style and pick up General Hammond from like the early 1980s. So it can be played by the same actor who played him in 1969. And he'll have aged a little bit there. And so he can be like having like Flock of Seagulls hair, and like he can like wear like shades and like fluorescent neon colors and be like, whoa, that's like radical whenever he sees like the Stargate. And so I think it'll be a big hit. I don't have a name for it yet. Maybe like Stargate, like The Return or something. I don't know.
So Victor, will that race between the Goua'uld and replicators be called the Gorb?
Gorb, I like it.
Can we pronounce it 4 different ways? The Goua'uld.
Yeah.
Gorb.
Gorb.
Nice. What about you, Father Cory? What would you do if you were put in charge of a show?
I think the first thing I would do is make it clear we're not going to do the overarching storylines and grittiness of Battlestar Galactica. And I like the idea, actually what I think would be cool is there's an episode, I can't remember what season it is, but it's like the 20, 30 years in the future. Do you guys remember which, the episode I'm talking about where they're
2010 or
was that 2010?
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's 2010.
20 or 30 years in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, something like that where the Stargate is known to the civilians, and we do have commerce with all these different planets, and but not the aliens have really taken it over, and And, that the SGC or SG-1 is trying to send a message back to their past selves to say, don't go to the planet where the aliens come from. Oh, spoilers for that episode if you haven't seen it this late. I think that would be an interesting point to do it, where it isn't just a military. You still have the military missions. You could still have, SG-1 or, the SG-1, the 2020 version or whatever. But it is, again, it's the Stargates are known much more widely, and again, that aliens are conversing with us. And what does Earth look like when aliens can just jump into Stargate and come visit?
That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the implications for commerce and stuff. You could get like a Blade Runner world, or, people getting technologically enhanced and stuff. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, yeah. What about you, Lisa?
I've obviously not given this as much thought as Victor.
Oh, there was thought involved in Victor's response?
Yeah. Not much. But
I think that for me, it would just be to stay true to what made Stargate so popular in the 90s and early 2000s. And that would be, like we've talked about, that it's positive and pokes a little fun at itself, and that it has great, solid characters. It's a character relationship show that just happens to be sci-fi, right? And that's what they did so beautifully. But I want to give a plug for, if you let me, I want to give a plug for Stargate Now Europe on Twitter, because they are actually promoting to get a new show formed, right? Canon show. So they use the hashtag We Want Stargate.
Yes.
And if you follow them and you tweet that hashtag, they just have so many ideas, and they just really are trying to flood Twitter with, we want more Stargate, because there's been all these rumors and all this talk about a new show in production. And so Victor, our Father Cory, just go on Twitter and it's like, just do it.
I'll get it trending on Getter.
There you go. I don't even know what Getter is, so.
Nice. What I would like is a show called Stargate Vatican, where it turns out that in the Vatican archives, there's actually been a Stargate there for years, and like elite priests are sent through on evangelization missions to different planets. I feel like that'd be cool.
I volunteer.
Cool.
Yeah. Talk about no financial oversight. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been running their own teams.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's a lot of fun, and we will make sure to start using that hashtag We Want Stargate, because it'd be awesome to see more shows coming out.
We do want Stargate.
Yes.
What do we want? Stargate.
Stargate.
When do we want it?
When do we want
Stargate.
Yeah.
No. After sufficient development time.
Yeah.
Not Origins. Yeah.
Keep Alex Kurtzman away from it.
Yes.
Oh. Or J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Yes.
Or Disney. Well, I think Amazon owns it, and they did pretty well with The Expanse. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
I think if Max Landis ever gets out of his penalty box, he could do a really good Stargate show. He did really good with the Dirk Gently BBC America show.
Yeah, it is good. That one's good.
Nice. Awesome. Well, before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including Colleen N., Daniel S., Ruben L., David B., and Jordana A. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Be sure to follow the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Getter, apparently, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. To find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. You can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. You can also join the StarQuest fan club mailing list by texting StarQuest to 66866. Send StarQuest to 66866. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, In the Line of Duty. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Well, thank you, Jack.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack, and Space Monkey, everybody.
And once again, I am Jack Berrezzini. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
I
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?